What's been your best month of revenue?
So best month, actually, we just came off of our best month. Our best month was roughly about 900 something thousand. That's
Just about $1 million.
just close to $1 million. Yeah. You know, God has an assignment, a place, a purpose for all of us, and He says those of us who are faithful with little will be blessed with much, right? And so if we can be trusted with little, so the little that we may think we have, if we're good stewards over those things, then He'll bless us with much. So if we're not grateful for where we are, why do I believe He's gonna bless me with more? He's giving me a vision for more.
Okay, so this interview with James Graham, I enjoyed it. It was warm, it was authentic, it was real. And I also just have a certain respect or reverence for people that are very successful, especially in the business and financial world, yet they have such an honor for God and see that as such an integral part of their success. So you'll see that as a reoccurring theme in this interview, and also just the nature of just being the older man, distinguished with family and providing for and children and grandchildren. So it gives you a certain perspective, and it's inspiring. So happy holidays if you're watching this at the end of December. Otherwise, happy day, and I hope you enjoy the interview with James Graham.
So we're VidSummit 2023, and I met James Graham, my namesake. How you doing, man?
I'm blessed, brother. How are you?
I'm doing great.
Yeah.
You look very fresh. I even noticed the detail of the cufflinks, man.
Yeah, man. We just doing it right. Cause you're out here and you gotta just represent. You always, you show up and you show up ready, So just never know. Today's the last day, right? Make that lasting impression, because they remember the first thing they see, they remember the last thing they see.
How important is impression, especially in terms of dress?
Well, I guess it depends on at what stage you are, and but I believe it's important, because people need to be able to know that you care, and sometimes in order for them to even begin to hear what you're saying, they need to be able to trust and appreciate that in your presentation that you have attention to detail there. So if they're gonna be trusting you with their finances and their life, in some instances, then they want to see that that you have attention to your own detail as well. I mean, at least at this level. But it's not, it's not 100%. I just say, my thing is, I guess, you want to leave out all the opportunities for people to get the wrong impression, right? So you're always just putting your best foot forward, not being fake. Like it's not being fake,
right?
But just, just leave a lasting impression.
You never know how far I can go, right?
You never know, right? And sometimes that just just allows people to feel comfortable enough to have the conversation that they need to have, depending on what level they're at. But honestly, it's not all about this. If they're just impressed about your dress, then it's, then that's shallow, it's vain. But there is a piece to that too.
Yeah, it's a byproduct. It's like, if I go rent a Lamborghini just to impress, I mean, that's weak. But if I live a lifestyle and that just happens to be the
part of, right. If there's no substance, right. Once you get there's no substance, then that they'll see that very soon, very quickly, right. And you don't want to live that kind of life. It's not.
It's tiring.
It's tiring. You're impressed. You're living to impress. I mean, I do live to impress, but the person that I live to impress is him and my wife. That's it, really, honestly. That's it. And I know if I'm impressing him, then there's only, the only way that I can is by just abiding by what he's calling me to do, serving the people in a way that he's calling me to serve, in a way that pleases him, right? Yeah.
So what, the people don't know, for people that do not know you, what's your name, and just tell us what you've been able to produce in your life and business.
So my name is James Graham. When you say what I've been able to produce, I've been able to produce 3 beautiful children. We've been able to produce a host of people all over the world who have also created financial independence and freedom for their life and for their family. My wife and I, we've been together for 30, we just celebrated our 30th anniversary, 38 years together. And so, but not honestly, I'll just say I haven't produced anything. I just, he's producing through me. So, yeah.
In terms of business and revenue, what's been like your best month in revenue?
Best month? So we just came off.
And also, what do you actually do as well?
Okay. So what I do is I've been in the real estate space for 30 plus years as an investor. I bought and sold
30 years?
Plus years, probably more like 30. I think I bought my first piece of real estate back in 1990, 91, I think it was. So what is that, 32 years? Yeah. So in any case, yeah, I've been an investor for 32 years, bought and sold over 800. I stopped counting a long time ago, 800 properties for myself, made millions of dollars in real estate. And, today I'm in the Airbnb space. I've helped my children to become financially independent. We made millions of dollars in the Airbnb space. And then, I've helped many people all over the world do the same thing, where they're able to start and grow their own Airbnb 6 and 7 figure Airbnb portfolios without owning properties. Yeah.
Without owning properties. That's phenomenal. And what's been your best month in revenue?
So best month, actually, we just came off of our best month. Our best month was roughly about 900 something thousand.
Just about $1 million.
Just close to $1 million, yeah. By the grace of God.
By the grace of God. Love that. What has been your secret or your ingredient to your success, like to reach that kind of result? Maybe a whole recipe, I'm sure.
Yeah,
so you can.
But I guess there's three simple things. I think, the first thing, obviously, again, I'm always going to point to him, but being grateful, right? Regardless of where you are, where you are, being grateful for where that is.
No matter where you're at.
Right. No matter where you are. Because if you can't, if you're not grateful for where you are, then a couple of things you fail to recognize is that it could be a lot worse. Right?
That's true.
And the other thing you fail, I'll just leave that. So, but the other thing,
I'm curious. Wait, what's you leaving?
But when it comes to being grateful, there's also other people that would love, in many cases, that have a situation that's worse than yours. So it could be worse for you, but there are other people that are actually living a situation that is also worse. So be grateful, right? The other is...
That makes me think, I sometimes tell myself, every one of us is living a version of someone else's dream. Like actual dream, not like it'd be nice.
That's
like
good. I wish
I pray.
If I could be, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. And
I would say we're doing that for our past selves as well.
For our past selves as well. I'm glad you said that, because when you said that, that's what I thought about too. Yeah. So that's awesome. But also, when it comes to gratitude, I believe that God has an assignment, a place, a purpose for all of us, and He says those of us who are faithful with little will be blessed with much, right? And so if we could be trusted with little, so the little that we may think we have, if we're good stewards over those things, then He'll bless us with much. So if we're not grateful for where we are, why do I believe He's going to bless me with more? He's given me a vision for more. If He's given me a vision for more, then as a man, as a father, as a husband, as a man, as a husband, as a father, as a businessman, as a servant, if he's giving me a vision for more, as a creator in his own image, if I'm not a good steward, if I'm not grateful for where I'm at, then why would he bless me with more? So,
yeah, I think logically, I don't know where this came from in my mind, but if you don't know where you are, how can you go to where you want to go?
Yeah.
As well.
Yeah, and then the other thing I think is also just, I guess I would say the second thing, because there's more to that, but we'll just so the second thing is is understanding who you are. So just understanding who you are. And that goes kind of deep, right? Because when you say understanding who you are, a lot of people, we have a tendency to just hang on the image of what people said we were, or what society portrays us or wants us to believe, to maybe keep us, in a place where we're controlled in a sense. Again, I'm not going too deep into that, but really, most people, when you look at, your mom, your dad, your grandma, not in your case, your granddad, because I know you have a granddad that's been successful, very successful, right? But most people, and then you go back, we have a mom, a dad, a grandpa, grandma, granddad, great grandfather, where they've hopefully in most cases have done their best, right? They've done their best to provide. But a lot of times they've also done their best with a lot of limiting beliefs as to what they could have possibly achieved. And versus what God said gave them real vision for, and people have stomped out and said, no, you can't do that. How are you able to do this? You young, you black, you white, you yellow, you brown, whatever.
You're
you
ugly.
Grew up, you ugly, you tall, you short, you fat, you skinny, whatever. You stutter, whatever it is. You got a chip tooth, whatever. You don't look like that guy on TV or that woman on TV, or you didn't grow up with this background or that background. There's no way you can accomplish those things. Who are you to believe that you can accomplish that? And society wants you to really, like that, we kind of begin to take on, and hearing that over and over and over and over and over again through music, through TV, through our families, and seeing how they grew up, we tend to inherit that.
I think Myron Golden calls my lie-identity or something like that.
Lie-identity, yeah. Myron says he calls it a lie-identity, but he also talks about your my-identity too. And your my-identity is who you believe you are, right? And that's also a fallacy too, right? So you got your, as Myron would call it, your lie-identity, which is, what everybody else wants you to believe. I like to call that the enemy, really, because the enemy, I know, again, we know, there is that, our battle is not against flesh and blood, it's against powers and principalities. But the enemy is anything that's taking us away or wants to take us away from what God has for us. And sometimes that's not just the lie identity, but it's also your my identity, because your my identity also has limitations to make you believe that this is, even though it's more than what they did, this is as far as you can go. And that's keeping you in some cases from what God has. And then you have your identity. And when I talked about who we are, knowing who we are, who did God say we were? Right? And he tells us in Genesis, he tells us that he created us in his own image, right? And he calls for us to be fruitful, right? And to multiply. And he says to fill the earth and subdue it, right? And then he says to have dominion over all these things that he created. We're the only things that he created on this earth that he said that to. But basically, he essentially said that, look, I created y'all this for all of you, right? It's all yours. Do with it what you must to please me. Fill it with the seed of creativity and the seed that I've put in you that is of me, that part that's of me. And so knowing who we are. And I think that's number 2. And then number 3, a way to kind of to bring those couple things together is being around people, getting around people that that have accomplished those things, that have broken through those barriers, right? Those they're grateful. They're not limited in their mindset. They know who they are, and they're walking in the purpose and in the assignment that God's given them, and they're serving, and they understand that, and they've accomplished things that, when you look at the things the vision that God's given you, they've accomplished those things. So now it helps you. It makes it. I like to say that, life comes down to, decisions.
Sure.
Right? And success is about decisions.
Every moment is decision.
Right? Decisions. Warren Buffett said, and in business, success is about decisions too, but it's about making simple decisions, making the complicated simple, right? And Warren Buffett said that he did an interview with Steve Forbes, and Steve asked him, he said, Warren, like, what would you attribute your success to? And one of the things he said is, well, I don't believe that I'm any more special than anyone else. He says, I look at life, I look at business is just a series of decisions. It's like the stock market. Like, we all make decisions. If we're walking and we're doing our best to do the right thing, then we're going to make good decisions, but we're going to make bad decisions. Everybody, because we're not perfect. He says, and so you got good decisions, bad decisions. In the stock market, if you look at it over a year's time, it just looks like this. It's ups and downs. If you look at it over years, over a month's time, it's ups and downs. If you look at it over a week, it's ups and downs. If you look at it over a 10-year time, it's still ups and downs, but you're going to see this, right? This is what you see over time. Because why? Because the good outweighed the bad. He said, what you want to avoid, though, is you want to avoid making catastrophic decisions where everything you've accomplished over a 5 or a 10 or a 15-year period, you make a catastrophic decision, a stupid decision. He didn't say stupid, but catastrophic decision that puts you all the way back to 0 or less, right? And one way to avoid that is making the complicated simple, is being around the right people that have accomplished 10 times more than where you already are, so that you don't have to figure it out and guess. There's no guessing, right? Model what they're doing, imitate, replicate. So imitate who they are. So you want to get around people also with the same morals and values, right? Because business, to me, there's no separation between business and life. That is who you are. Right? There's no, to me, and if that's who I am, that's why you hear me acknowledging God in what I do, because I wouldn't have anything without him. He says, acknowledge me in all your ways and I will direct your paths. I'll make your path straight. I couldn't do any of this without him. My wisdom is limited, but with him, all things are possible, right? So there's no separation. And when you get around people who've accomplished some of those things, you can learn, right, from people that where their values may not be in alignment. They may just have great strategies and business tactics, and you can learn from that, but it's only going to go so far, right? You get around people that have accomplished it and their values are similar to the way you want to also live your family, how you want to raise your kids, how you want to honor the Lord, how you want to treat your wife, like all those things. Then now you're having conversations not just about making money. It's about serving him, about serving people. It's about serving in your purpose. It's about your family, all of that. And then you're not limited. And the chances for you to make those catastrophic decisions that you mitigate the risk of that happening is like significant. So like those are my three. That is the three. There's so many more, but if I had to just leave someone with the three key things, that would probably be it. And obviously, again, he's always in the center of it all. Hopefully that was helpful.
Yes. Oh, 100%. And last thing I wanted to say, that what that reminded me of is just the quote that your environment is stronger than your will. So if you're surrounded every day with any energy, like as much as you might want to just say, I'm going to stay this way, that just kind of like principle, law. And so that's one of the biggest. It's simple. It can be simple to change your environment, but it also can be difficult for people.
It could be. It could be real difficult, but again, that's what success is about, making the complicated simple. It's just making it complicated simple. And that's how I try to live my life. Just like I say my motto to all my students, my motto is just keep it simple. Like if it's complicated, I really don't want anything to do with it. Just keep it simple. Cause, you asked me earlier, what was your best month? And our best month, we're knocking on the door, almost made $1 million in 1 month. And what I realized is that it was a lot simpler than when we were making $1 million in 1 year. Why? Because of those three things that I just told you. And that third thing was so key. It was hard to, I felt like I was hitting a glass ceiling until that third thing, I was able to really get to that third thing around people, the right people that have accomplished 10 and 20 times more, that were willing to pull back the curtains. This is how it's done. This is what we're doing. This is what I do. This is why I do it. So there's no guessing. And then we just model them. And then that's just, straight science. Like if you do exactly what they're doing, you will get somewhat of a similar result. Right? So
that's simple. That's science. Does money buy happiness? Has it brought happiness and fulfillment?
No, So that's the same thing about gratitude. Like if you don't already have joy, like when I wasn't when I was only making $100,000 a year, when I was only making $50,000 a year. Yeah, I'll say $50,000 a year. Like I was still joyful, because it's the joy of the Lord, right? The fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, gentleness, faithfulness, self-control. Like that's one of the fruit. If I'm filled with the Holy Spirit and I don't have joy, don't say happiness, joy, because joy comes, to me, happiness is coming from the external, right? All that other comes from the internal, right? And if you have that, then you talked about presentation earlier, right? Right? So when it comes to presentation, people recognize that too. Like if you sulking and down and bitter and like, who wants to be around that?
Like if I had been like, hey, you want to do an interview later?
Yeah, dude, man, come on, right? So, but it's from the inside out. Like when he changes us, it's from the inside out. And what you have to give is from the inside out, right? You give from here, it's from the inside. And something that I heard my brother say too, he said, you can always fake it with words, but you can't fake it with your energy. People will pick up on that. And so personally, again, to answer your question, no, I don't believe money buys happiness. But one thing I will say is it does relieve a lot of the things that could try to keep you unhappy. I like that.
I got that.
I like that. So I mean, I enjoy spending time with the family. That's that's my first ministry, my wife and my kids. And, we were able to do a lot of things. However, because, and when we didn't have a whole lot of money, we still spent a lot of time together. But now you're thinking about, you got too many other things on your mind regarding, taking care of bills and doing different things. And when you have the finances now, like now, my son and my daughter are having a baby today. Like, by the grace of God, like, he is so awesome. Our 4th grandchild. So, but here's the thing. Like, every time, this is their 3rd, our 4th. Every time that they've had a child, we've been able to get up and go and just say, all right, we're going to hang out with y'all for the next month or 2 or 3 or till y'all want us to go, right? Because
it's a blessing.
It's a blessing.
My last questions, for someone that's trying to making 30, 40,000, just struggling, just trying to break that 6-figure mark, which for them is like, I made it, oh my gosh, I can do some of these things in my life and travel and not worry about bills and XYZ. What would you say is the most important thing for them to, recap those 3, if they had to just do this one thing to get to that point, what would you tell them?
So, like, discipline, I think, is a key. And when I say discipline is, like, if you're making $30,000, $40,000 a year, and depending on how you're making it, like if you're making $30,000, $40,000 a year working at a job, and that's your desire to be in corporate America, I was once in corporate America, then you have to recognize what's going to be your fastest path to making $100,000 a year, right? But when you're in corporate America, so that's corporate America, and the difference between corporate America and being independent is corporate America now there's a lot of navigating through a lot of the politics and things like that. So, and now your success is kind of in the hands of some man, right, who's going to determine when they want to promote you or not. And then on the other side, when you're independent, so if you're independent and you're making $40,000 a year and you want to get to 100,000 or 40,000 a month, but let's just go to 100,000. I like 40,000 a month.
Yeah, why is that?
I like that. Why? Because 10x is easier than 2x.
That's so crazy, but I'm gonna get it eventually.
Right? I was making $1 million a year. Now we're making $1 million a month, and you heard me say it was easier. Right? So, and then also, not only is it easier, but you get a chance to enjoy things more. Right? So, but to make $40,000. If you're trying to 10x, if you want to 10x, or you want to,
go 10x, yeah.
What I would recommend is understanding, like, what are the key things that you're doing that are generating you revenue. Like, what is it that generates revenue, and then understanding what things, like, because you got that 80-20 principle. Right? There's typically 20% of the things are the things that are creating 80% of the results. So you got to recognize what that 20% is, and then double down on it. Like, just double down on it and keep doing the same thing, but being disciplined. So when I say discipline, like, there's a lot of distractions out there, a lot. And, getting to my first $100,000 month, like, in this space, it took me about 2 years, just over 18 months of waking up every morning at 4 a.m.
4 a.m.
every morning. I didn't have to. Like, I already had real estate, but I wanted to do it in this space. It's easier. I can reach the world, right? And I could travel the world, not worrying about all the traditional real estate stuff the way we did it. Anyway, so 4 a.m., but here's why I did it. Because at 4 a.m., I'm able to get up, able to get in my prayer, I'm able to get in my quiet time, read my word, exercise, run my 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 miles, whatever. And then I'm able to sit when the birds aren't even chirping, the sun's not up, the phone ain't ringing, and get into the thing that, well, first of all, just think. Just sit and think. The hardest thing that most people won't do is think. And then when you're able to think, you're able to see clear without the distractions and understand what that 20% is.
Get out of the rat race because you're not waking up and just going.
Yeah. Like a lot of people, and if you're working a 9 to 5, like get up at 4 o'clock. I was still quote unquote in the rat race in a sense because I had traditional real estate, I had a bunch of properties, but now you got managers calling me, I got construction people calling me, I got tenants calling me once 9 o'clock hits. So now I got to deal with all that stuff when I'm trying to build something else. So ain't nobody up at 4. Ain't nobody up at 4. By the time 9 o'clock hits, I've already accomplished more than most people did, right, all day. So, all right. So anyway, discipline and going after that thing. But I think this probably is the most profound. I think the most profound is finding a problem that people have and solving it. Using the gift that God gave you to solve the problem. That's it right there. Because there's a lot. Finding a great problem that people have, take the gift that God gave you, come up with the solution to that problem and then you can serve those people. Once you understand how to get people what they want, Zig Ziglar, I believe, said this, you'll always have what you want. That's it.
In that process, eventually you become good, and then you become more efficient, right?
Yeah, well, yeah. But I mean, like success, I don't know if there's anything that, like if you look at the greatest companies that are creating the most wealth, they're all serving someone. They're serving someone. Like for me, the reason why we were able to we've had such success is because it ain't about how much money I can make for me. Like I could have just kept what we do to my family and just grew that. And the Lord said, no, like I gave you a gift. Yeah, you blessed yourself. Your family's blessed. But I want you to use that same gift because there's others who have a desire to have financial freedom for their family, generational wealth for their family. Take my gift and share it with others. So in order to share it with others, then now I'm taking the gift. I got to help them. I got to serve them. And when you're doing that, yeah, you get better. You will get better. But it's about serving, right? It's about serving. And none of us can do it alone, right? But everyone has a desire. You said it earlier. You said there's someone, where you are is someone else's dream, right? Something like that.
Yeah, we're currently living somebody else's dream.
Right. Even your past self.
Yeah,
right?
our past self.
So I like to look at that like my past self. Like my past self, what would I want? Like what do I truly desire? And how can I solve that for my past self? 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 15 years ago. So when I'm helping people, I treat them like they're me then. I treat them like they're my son and my daughter. If there was someone that was helping me helping my son or helping my daughter, how would I want them to help them to get them there? Because my kids, they're all financially independent, but the only reason they are is because they do exactly what my students do. If it's not good enough for them, if it's not good enough for you, then it ain't good enough for them. So like my son and my kids are like, Dad, like you said you were going to show us how to do this. Like, aren't you going to give us something special? What you mean that is special. Do exactly what they're doing. They got success doing what I showed them how to do. You go through the same process that they go through, right? So serve the people. And when you serve the people, then, and you do it in a way, Solomon, think of King Solomon.
Yes, sir.
Right? Solomon, the Lord came to King Solomon. He was already anointed king. And he said to him, he came to him in a dream. He said, what is it you want? Ask anything. And Solomon asked for the wisdom to lead his people in a way that pleases him. So if we're doing that, and God said what? He said, because you didn't ask for riches or death to your enemies or long life, not only am I going to give you wisdom, in fact, I'm going to make you the wisest person that's ever walked the earth, but I'm also going to give you all those other things you didn't ask for. You're going to be the wealthiest man that's ever walked. Because why? Because you have a desire and a heart to take the gift that I gave you to serve in a way that pleases me. So it's about service, bro. It's about pleasing him with your gift, with his seed that he put in you. And then guess what? There's no limitations. There's no limitations because he ain't gonna let you fail because he can't. He can't fail. And if he's got something for you, he ain't gonna fail through you either. He's gonna bring it to pass. But we gotta be obedient and understand what that is. So hopefully that was helpful.
Absolutely. You put it simply too, like you said. Perfect.
But that's why it's complicated sometimes. It's hard. People make it hard because it's like, how can it be that simple? But that's where the discipline comes in, because sometimes it's lonely. Like, it's like, man, like you're grinding and you feel like you're grinding. It's like, Lord, when? Believe me, I've been there. I've been on my knees, my face, crying. Like, Lord, like, what am I doing wrong? Why is it? I know that. But one of the things he says is, he says, when you've done everything you can do to stand, just stand. Why? Because the battle is not yours, it's his. And my son has his shirt, he says, I read the last chapter, he won, right? He wins. And when he wins the battle, if we're still standing, then we can continue in the mission and the purpose that he called us. But if we get out there and try to do it all ourselves and get beat up and hacked up, when the battle's over, then we're gonna be all beat up. So persistence, right? Just holding on to him, being obedient to his voice, understanding who we are, and just walking in our purpose. And when you do that, like, the only thing that can happen is that you're gonna get there. That's it. It's the only thing that can happen. There's no alternative. If he gave you the vision, the only thing that can happen if you're walking in your purpose, if you're serving to please him, you're serving people, you're using your gift, you're being fruitful, you're multiplying, you're filling the earth, you're subduing it, you're having dominion over all the things, all these resources that he gave you, not focusing on what you don't have, but focusing on what you do, then the only thing that can happen is that you're gonna accomplish it. There's no other alternative. So.
Incredibly well said. I appreciate that. How can people, I know you help people with real estate. How can people find out about you, take advantage of what you might have to offer?
My YouTube channel, Jim G Coaching Club. Instagram, Jim G Coaching Club. Facebook, Jim G Coaching Club.
You help them acquire real estate assets.
Yeah, so what we do is we help people grow their. What we do is we grow people's $1 million Airbnb portfolio in 3 to 6 months. So $1 million cash flow.
I heard
without
not
owning
use
property.
without owning property.
Without owning property. And then what we also do is the same way we have structured our coaching framework where we're making millions of dollars with the coaching on the coaching side as well. We also help people create their $1 million coaching platforms and frameworks as well around the businesses that they already have or the gifts that they already have.
Amazing. Any final words?
Trust him. Trust him. He ain't finished with you. Just trust him. God bless you. You got this. You got this.
Thank you. Been a pleasure.
God bless you. Thank you.
God bless you as well.
Thank you for watching, friends. Hope you enjoyed the interview with James Graham. This is a little bit longer than usual, but I hope you found something you could take into your life and implement. I have his YouTube channel as well as a link to his challenge in case you're interested in the things he's offering. Check the description below to tap in. Check out one of these 2 next recommended videos, and I will see you on the next one.